City of Newburgh, once known as the Jewel of the Hudson, has a proud history and several important historical designations. But like many older cities, Newburgh has had its share of economic and social problems. In the past several years, the city's leaders and its citizens have united to set the stage for an amazing comeback. Newburgh's renaissance is well underway, and the future looks bright for this beautiful river city. In December of 2002, Safe Harbors of the Hudson purchased the property located at 111 Broadway. The buildings that once housed a luxury hotel and a historic theater had been neglected for many years and were in a state of serious disrepair. The transformation from rundown welfare hotel to beautifully renovated affordable housing, including 12 artist lofts and a community gallery, is nothing short of amazing. The restoration of the Ritz Theater is the next step for Safe Harbors of the Hudson, a move that many believe will change forever a city that has struggled mightily to rise from the ashes. The hope is that this theater, which played such an important role in the city's glory days, will once again be a venue for live performances and will help reestablish Newburgh as a center for culture in the Hudson Valley.
Gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories.
When I first discovered the Hotel Newburgh and was intent on purchasing it to provide quality housing for people that needed it, I had no idea that this significant piece of history was tucked in this building. And I discovered it one day taking a tour of the building. I was walking around and hit the theater, was at the top of a staircase, looked down, saw an original stage dating back to the 1800s, and looked up and saw 4 stories of fly space and was immediately intrigued by the theater. So now that our housing is up and running, I have to focus on restoring that space. And for all the people that know the amazing history, and for the grandchildren that have an opportunity to play a part in the future amazing history of that space.
My recollections of it go all the way back to 1927, when Paramount had their first Academy Award-winning picture called Wings, and it was a really sad movie about the World War I and the flyers being shot down, and it was, I was kind of young and I remember being very affected by it. The other vivid memory that I have is of Bill Robinson, who was called Bojangles Robinson, was a tap dancer early on, and we were lucky. We got all the big bands. They had animal acts and jugglers and magicians, and Tex Ritter was here with his horse on stage one time.
They were famous people. Oh, Frank Sinatra was there. He appeared there. And of course they would go into the hotel next door, and Mr. Levinson got annoyed with Sinatra and told him he was just a bum to get out of there. He didn't think very much. And of course that was when Frank was just starting. He was just the idol of the Bobby Soxers, and he was about this big around and a kid. Of course, Mr. Levinson was an established businessman. He probably looked down his nose at these things. It was a handsome theater. It was all rosy and gold, and it just was welcoming and warm. People looked forward to going there, and especially when they had the stage show, they were well attended, so it would be nice to have something like that come back again.
We had 5 theaters in my growing up time. And it's very important that there is one theater here that can be restored. Many of you may remember the Paramount Theater in New York City had famous stage shows, road shows, people from the theater, people from music, big bands. All these people performed at the Paramount Theater, but they performed at Newburgh, New York before that, the day before, the same performance. Broadway was the hub of the city. And that was the place to be, and it should become that again. Look at what we have now. We have the Carpellis Museum, which is one of the most famous manuscript museums in this country. We have City Hall, which was recently restored beautifully. We have Cornerstone, which is going to be one of the most interesting, wonderful things happening on Broadway. We have the restored Armory Building, and we will soon have Orange County Community College.
There is so much buzz about Broadway's rebirth, the waterfront's rebirth in Newburgh, the rebirth of arts and culture in Newburgh with a new Arts and Culture Commission, and I think that the lower part of Broadway, from Du Bois coming down, all of that hillside that's in view of the river is going to be the real central city and the central cultural part of the city. The theaters were always positioned on Broadway. You used to have a row with the Academy, the Cameo, the Broadway, the Ritz. They were all in a row and they all succeeded. The one that's left of all of the well-known theaters that the Hudson Valley used to know is the Ritz, and thank goodness, because it's the large one. It still has the ability to have a seating capacity for all kinds of performances that will attract crowds. It's in view of that magnificent panorama, so you just imagine people coming and going from a theater and stepping out in the street and taking a break during intermission and looking out at the Hudson Valley. And I think that the demographics that are changing in the county and in the region, the late 20s, early 30s people are moving to town, and they find that they want an urban kind of an experience, but they don't necessarily have to live in the high-priced, high-paced Manhattan. And that Newburgh is very appealing to that age group. So lots of NFA grads who always exited the city forever are coming back. And they want some culture in their community, and they want it in a walkable distance from their home. They want to come out of work, come home, walk out to get their groceries, walk out to get their culture. And with a theater positioned on Broadway like that, I think they will do it. And so it's not just a build it and they will come. It's here and they're here. And we just have to connect the two of them.
Ritz Theater is absolutely critical to the revitalization of this section of Broadway in the city of Newburgh. We are really on the tipping point of turning our city around. And to have a cultural venue like the Ritz Theater that reflects our past, and really a glorious past, as well as the future of where we can be and where we want to be, I can't, as a city manager, I can only say that that Ritz Theater will be a symbol of us making it. It will give tremendous amount of confidence, pride, the hope that people have invested in this city for so many years. This will be the symbol to those people to say, yeah, we've made it. We have made it. We have turned our city around, and this city is a world-class city. It's very hard for people who come to the city now maybe to recognize that, because we have had a lot of problems. But every day we're doing something that moves us forward. And the Ritz Theater will be that, not only that symbol, but it will be like a stake in the ground that says that there's no way we're going backwards.
As a member of the House of Representatives, I've been working here to bring this city back, and the city is coming back. But this particular project is the most significant project in the city because it brings back an historic building that's been around here for more than 120 years, gone through a variety of various kinds of periods of success and then downturns. Now it's coming back to a wonderful new moment of success, which is going to last for a long, long time. The work that Trish is doing on this building is extraordinary. She's a woman of great energy, really focused, very intelligent, with a deep understanding of her objectives. And the objectives that she's laid forth with regard to this building are superb. We all support her completely.
So we're in the process now of seeking the funding to restore the space. We've created a local theater advisory board filled with local leaders and people in the arts that recognize that this stage can strengthen this community, can build the community, help define the city's quality of life here, and create active tourism for the city.
The Ritz Theater was developed around 1913 and represents our theatrical past. It is a wonderful space. It is going to be, when it's restored, a wonderful size for contemporary theater, such as our opera company is and will be in the future. And we have relationship with the owner of the theater to come into the Ritz Theater as soon as possible. Even before it's done, we are going to do 1 or 2 productions in there. We have kind of some fun ideas about bringing opera in there just as soon as possible. We're very excited about the restoration of this wonderful building done by a very wonderfully thoughtful person in Trish Haggerty Wentz. And I want everybody to know that the Opera Company of the Highlands is going to join her in every step of this restoration.
It is our goal, number one goal as an organization, to restore that space, create a home for local arts groups, and create a venue for live performance again for the City of Newburgh, which I think will do nothing short of a miracle for this community.
The Ritz Theater Restoration. Join us in preserving history and renewing hope in the City of Newburgh.